Just now Ustad asked me about life in Europe. I lived in England for a short while because I was studying there. To be honest, they're actually more well-dressed than we are, maybe because of the weather. Of course, summer was quite short. There was one time that it was only about 22 degrees and the day was very long. And the saddest part, even in the university, the professor said that we Asians are the worst. And I think in Kuala Lumpur, where I'm studying, you also find that many women are exposing themselves more. All right, is there any questions?
Assalamualaikum. Okay, I start the ball rolling first lah. My name is Sharizal. Okay, Ustaz, I would like to ask this question to Ustaz Saisa. How can we dress at home? Let's say for myself or my wife to be more pleasing. Because at home, honestly, I like to wear my sarung or my pajama pants and sometimes topless lah because panas kan. So how can we dress at home to be more on the Muslim Islamic aspect lah, so that we can be pleasing to my wife's eyes, or my wife can be pleasing to my eyes, macam itulah.
Okay, Alhamdulillah. Of course, as I mentioned just now, that if it is just the two of you, husband and wife, what is more pleasant to the two of you, it's okay in the eyes of the religion. By virtue, according to the practice, the moment you are out of your bedroom, you should be fully dressed. Fully dressed as in the sense that you wear pants or you wear sarong lah if you're at home, and put on a t-shirt. That is by virtue, as I said. But if you think that you are both okay running around without a shirt, showing your stomach, then it's okay. I mean, as long as there's no outside party inside your house. What matter here is the outside party. And then, in the context of our society, we live in housing estate whereby you can be seen by the neighbors. Because as what Ustazah has pointed out, being a Muslim, you have to try to be different from the non-Muslim. Likewise, what is so special? Why should I become a Muslim? You tell me. Now you answer my question. Right. If there is not much of a difference, sorry to say, I'm not criticizing any other races or whatever, but I'm just trying to make you understand where the religion is coming from. Because everything when we talk about Islam is the best. But yet, we are not best of the best. Wallahu alam. I hope that answers your question. You want to add in, Ustazah?
As long as you are in the house, okay? Whatever pleases you, whatever pleases your wife, okay? It doesn't matter if she is not fully on her hijab, or you are not covering yourself, okay? Like you're just putting on your singlet to be comfortable, okay? Within your house, with no third party, as Ustaz says, okay? It's okay, okay? This one, you are a projection of Islam once you step out of the house. That matters most. I hope Ustaz had clarified.
There's a question here, Sarah Ustaza. I would like to ask about the use of makeup. Can we use makeup during our salah? Nowadays, we do have halal makeup, so is this okay?
Alhamdulillah. If you are putting on a makeup, first and foremost is to make sure that the ingredient used in the makeup is permissible. Okay? They cannot run away. anything that they want to put on the shelf in the market, they must clarify their ingredients. Okay? If their ingredient is, if you are sure of the ingredient and if you are sure it is permissible, you may use it. If you want to perform your salah, before we perform salah, we need to take your wudu. If you are, before that, you have to remove your makeups. If your makeup is permissible after your wudu, you want to be nice, beautiful, please, you can put on. Doesn't matter. Okay? But if your makeup is one that is not permissible, don't put it on. Okay? So the things here is to make sure it is permissible. Okay? Halal. Okay? If it's not halal, forget it. Okay? I hope I make that clear and I answer the question. Allah Alam bisawab.
Now to add to that, because remember that Islam talks about purityness. Purityness has got to do with faith. Until Prophet Muhammad ﷺ mentioned that an-nafazatu nisfu iman. Cleanliness is half of faith. So because of cleanliness is half of faith, so you need to look into what is in the content. Now an example, even for the brothers, if you want to be dyeing your hair, most of these things that is in the content of the hair dryer is actually ammonia, which is horse urine. Can you imagine how can you use a horse urine on you? Then when are you going? How do you want to cleanse yourself for you to be doing your prayer? So in that context, that you need to be very careful. And I think we don't have much yet in the beauty industry, except for we do have like a few spas, example like Chitra Ayu, you know. I'm not promoting any of these spas. I'm just sharing to make you know that if there is a Muslim spa, you can check with them in terms of what is being used. You know, because this is very important. Otherwise, you know, it will not purify you, and then it's very difficult for you later when you do your prayer. Allahu Alam.
All right, there's another question. If we have a maid at home, what is the clothing that we need to project for both the man and the woman? And should the helper put on the hijab as well? It's not addressed to anybody else, but any one of you could answer.
Can you answer the question?
Yeah, thank you. Of course, if you have a maid, yes, this is the reason why that you need to come back to class, as I mentioned, not only in my class. I'm sure there are other ustad that is even more learned than I am. For you to understand the ruling, when you have a maid, there is a ruling, there is a guideline given that the maid cannot be dressing sexier than your wife. Then there will be a problem. And then this is what happened normally. The maid dress more sexier than the madam. The madam becomes more dirtier, and the husband start looking at the maid instead of looking at the wife. So within your house, of course, you need to still maintain the basic. The basic, as you know, in Islam, has been clarified in the subject of usul al-fiqh. This is where, if you study, then you will find that the basis of Islamic sciences, usul al-fiqh, everything is permissible. You can buy the book of Yusuf Qardawi, Halal and Haram. They have it also in English for you to know the detail. What are the 11 principles mentioned there? So in most cases, all things are permissible, except otherwise there is an explicit command, then only it becomes unlawful. So the dress code that you should be wearing, again, as I said, outside your house. Some we are living in houses like housing board, which is obviously that you will definitely be bumping into one another if you are in the kitchen. Right. So this is where you have to maintain a very strict. If the wife needs a maid, then the wife must make sure that everything is being Islamized, meaning like the maid must be properly dressed. But I can see that most of the maids here are wearing shorts. I don't know why. If the employer is the one that ask her to do that, then the employer answerable to Allah. Your maid is not your slave. You must remember that. You cannot treat your maid like a slave. It is not allowed in the religion. Although it's actually close to slavery, but Islam does not forbid you from having maid in modern times because you need someone to assist you. But in terms of the treatment, on how you treat your maid, that's where you need to be very careful. Wallahu a'lam.
Is there any other questions? Yes.
Alhamdulillah, I repeat the question again. If the makeup is not waterproof, are we allowed to waterproof? Oh, waterproof? Is it permissible? Okay. Again, check the ingredients. Okay, very important. Okay, if it's permissible and it's waterproof, okay, not. Okay. If a water can dilute, okay, can be diluted, okay, and it runs out, okay, you are not. It's better that you don't put on the niqab. Okay, just like when you have an ink over your hand, okay, and when you take your wudu and the ink runs out, it's not valid. Your wudu is not valid. Tak sah. Okay. So if you have the makeup and it can run out, your wudu will not be valid. Okay? So always make sure that it's best you take your wudu first and take care. Make sure that whatever you put on is permissible and also how should I put it? It does not, if you are perspiring always, okay, and it runs out, it will be, I will say, on the macro side, okay. But if you are sure, very sure that it's permissible, okay, and it doesn't run out, okay, when you take your wudu, okay, or even after your wudu, it is permissible then. Okay.
There are any other questions? Yes.
Assalamualaikum. This question is from Ustaz Sayyid, sir. I want to know what is your view on Islamic for men, that is like selling T-shirt with quotes from the Quran, but it's not in Arabic, but it's in English. And also T-shirt with Rasulullah SAW sandal printed. So, I mean, does that fall under Islamic fashion? Is it permissible? And what's your view on that?
Waalaikumsalam. According to what I know in today's context, sometimes they want to be promoting certain religious thoughts or other saying, or sometimes certain ruling as a reminder. But you need to take into consideration that in fact, to be honest with you, Islam, when you talk about being a gentleman in the dress code for men, for male, is always long sleeve. The t-shirt should be inside, not outside. You know, that is what Islam. You don't see anyone wearing short sleeve when they are praying. Of course, there are different school of thoughts here. I'm talking from the Shafi'i school. When you do the prayer, it's more like for you to be putting on long sleeve rather than short sleeve. So having t-shirt with all these Quranic verses, this can be very, contradictory sometimes. It depends on, if you start playing games in that manner, then you trigger others to to also be challenging you by having something else in their t-shirt, which you can already see in the car sticker. You know, the car sticker you can see sometimes other religion also they put something that. Now the danger here, they are both in English. So what is the difference? You tell me. Have you seen? Have you seen this sticker that is in English that they paste in a car? Of course, Quran, they will quote Quran, but this is non-Quranic thing. They will not quote. The quote, they quote, this is the problem of once you translate Quran into English, you're going to have a lot of problems. Because it can be used by others, and then later label has something else. I'm just maintaining the sensitivity to answer your question, although we don't have any. Is there any non-believer here? No, right? Well, Alhamdulillah, believer lah. So, just to because I know where you're coming from. There's so many company now. You see, everything they want to take the opportunity of using Islam to make their own personal gain. This is not right, actually. It should not be in that way. If you really want to be promoting, then write the Quran. In fact, you know, if you that quote that you had in your house, you hang all the Quranic verses. It's haram, actually. Haram. It is not meant for decoration. You know, Astaghfirullahalazim is Allah Ta'ala's word. The scholars are silent about it because the reason was given, I cannot remember Ayatul Kursi. That one is too long. If I were to ask, not many or so of you, can you remember what is the dua to go inside? Every now and then go to the small room. What is the dua? Everybody knows. $10, not? Okay, never mind. I have said, I have to keep to my promise, of course. Then you must say it, I want to hear. MashaAllah, Alhamdulillah. So that is an example, that is an example of, what you call it, of, you know, because sometimes you cannot remember, it's a slip of your mind, right? So they paste it onto the toilet door, so that when they go in, they can remember. That is the idea why they allow, then it becomes a sticker, it becomes a this, it becomes like so many things. Later I give to you, you all the witness, I make sure I give it. Because this is an amanah, whatever you said, you must keep to your word. So this is why we need to understand. It's not that you cannot be wearing t-shirt, you cannot be having this kind, because you can see that you trigger something, and then it allows others to take opportunity, and then you create a confusion among the youngsters. If it is in Arabic, it's precise. You cannot change whatever is written in Arabic. As I told you, you are yet to attend the Arabic course, inshallah. It did postpone lagi till January. You know, so once you go into the Arabic, the studies of the Quranic Arabic, subhanallah, then you will understand the grammar, the nahu, the saraf, the bayan, the ma'ni. You know, all this is where there's no way that you can be taking. You cannot take any of the letters out. Remember? I can't explain to you because you need to attend the course for you to understand. Example, if you were reading Fatiha, that's why even the letter wow, you take out the letter wow, then it becomes wow. I mean, you really totally change the infrastructure of what you intend to deliver. You know, like wal asri, like it's also with the letter wow. So you need to know what is alphabet wow play. You know, just to say something like you are negative, right? They call it passive and nominal in the study of Nahu. You just need to write Mim Alif. To ask Bin Alif is nothing, but if you study Arabic grammar, then you will know the role of this Bin Alif. It's a negation. To deny something, you know, beside Lam Alif. Beside Lam Alif, there is Bin Alif. This is an example. So if it was to be in English, if someone from other religion were to say that my Lord is your Lord is my Lord, what will happen here? Actually, it's referring to Surah Al-Kafirun. Maybe if it is a Muslim t-shirt, they will put on there Surah Al-Kafirun. But if it is not a Muslim who are doing it to you, then how? Then you wear, you don't know actually it's referring to something else. I see this is the, so I got no issue about men wearing t-shirt and carrying so many names. And then besides, you must remember, especially for Friday prayer, brothers, remember brother, don't wear color t-shirt. Don't wear anything that has inscription or something that is been written onto the t-shirt. You distract the person behind you, definitely. Definitely. Especially you put on there, Guinness Stout is good for you. Carlsberg, Heineken, alamak, Allah. Suddenly the current comes because you get to see Carlsberg. Wallahu alam, hope that answers your question.
Can I just add a little bit to that of the men's aura, which I've seen some of youth especially. When we say their aura is from top of the navel to the knee, I saw some youth already putting on pants up to the knee, going into the mosque to do their prayer, which is permissible. But we had a lot of youngsters who have not reached the understanding level yet. Okay? They will at any time follow you. So my request is, even though it's permissible up to the knee, please put on a proper long pants to do your prayer. Okay? And if you are putting on a t-shirt, okay, make sure when you do your ruku, the part at the back of your body is not lifted up, because t-shirt, it is easily, when you bend, it follows you, see? And it can be seen. Okay? Also, please don't put on t-shirt. If you are going to the mosque, okay? If you are going onto the mosque, don't put on t-shirts like Ustad just mentioned, especially when you have the word follow me, Carlsberg and all that. It gives a wrong impression to non-Muslims. Okay? Oh, they are taking Carlsberg also can also. It gives the wrong impression. So, do it in a proper way if you are going to the mosque especially. Allah Alam Bisawab.
Yeah, I'd like to extend the question about advertisement logos, because we have a lot of sports companies who are being sponsored by some big companies. So is it halal to wear t-shirts with Carlsberg or Tiger Beer? Mainly I think a lot of men are wearing that because the company does that as well.
As I mentioned just now, even if it is given, they will definitely willingly want to be giving you free. You want to wear or not? Those t-shirts that bear Carlsberg, and they are willingly to give you free. So the answer, of course, is not allowed in the religion. It's not allowed. Whatever you wear, because of time, time doesn't permit me to be talking too long, but I do hope that we will meet again in some other of the lecture. Or you can come to my class for those who know where I teach, right? Every Tuesday night at Sultan Mosque and Wednesday at Maidin Mosque. Maidin Mosque, the time is very short. But if you want a longer time, you can come to Hang Jabat. Hang Jabat Mosque, which is, a lot of people find it very difficult. But now you can drive in. You can drive in if you drive, or even if you take a taxi, you can ask the taxi to drive in. So to answer that question, of course it's not allowed in Islam. It's haram for you to be, because you are promoting. Although you just to plan, unless otherwise you have a very good reason, there is no other t-shirt except in the store is good for you. If there is no other t-shirt, when you want to declare daruri, you need to know. That's why I said that you need to still come back for further studies for you to understand this ruling pertaining to daruri. Because likewise, even you go to Malaysia, if you go to Malacca near the Chinatown area, you will find that there is no Muslim food. Then what? You eating non-halal food can, is it? Darurat. You declare to say, daruri, there is no Muslim food. You can eat anything. Okay, there is a difference, and there is again differences. Like an example now, food that is being cooked by a non-Muslim, okay, in general, if they follow everything Islamically, there is no need to look for the halal label. Okay, this thing happened here in Singapore when Restu Muslim Seafood, they brought this to the attention to Muiz. Then they are actually run by a revert, a convert that owns it. And seafood, most of the seafood don't need halal certification. Why you slaughter the fish? Is it how? Later you can ask Chef how to slaughter the fish, how to slaughter the soto. No, right, there's no slaughtering. So, as I said, there are differences of opinion among the scholars. But the majority said that you don't need, there is nothing to do with slaughtering if you are selling seafood. The issue with, again, that if the cook is a non-Muslim, the issue is they may not follow the basic hygiene in Islam. That is the reason why it is discouraged for you to be eating something that is cooked by a non-Muslim. You know, under that circumstances, it's due to because of, maybe, doesn't follow the hygiene means they didn't wash the vegetable, they didn't wash their hand. I think you can see even in some of the coffee shop, it's a must basic hygiene that they need to maintain, right? They put on the glove on the left hand. Because in other than Islam, they never teach you to wash or to istinja, right? That's why it's required by I think the civil law that says that they have to put on the clinical glove when they are holding on to food. In coffee shop that I can see, I don't know whether in every coffee shop or only certain coffee shop practices that. Wallahu alam, so I hope that answers your question.
Is there any other questions? Yes?
I'll just shut up. Assalamualaikum. I have two questions. Number one, what is Islam's view of wearing fabrics or wearing clothes with animal prints? That's number one. Then number two, is it considered makruh or shubha or even haram for a seamstress to sew clothes which are not according to a woman's aura? For example, sleeves without lining, something like that.
Alaikum salam, sister. If I get your question was that is it allowed to be wearing t-shirt that with an animal logo, right?
T-shirt or even tudung.
That have animal logo. If it is you're doing it for prayer, right? Again, the issue arises there about whether are you going to use it for prayer or is just a normal. Although there are differences of opinion, you want to go into that detail, sister, I encourage you to read the book of Yusuf Al-Dawi. Because there he already mentioned about anything to do with animal figure, you disfigure it. If you want to be wearing a tudung, a tiger, example, disfigure the tiger head. That is what it is being said according to the law. Now, sometimes it becomes an argument among the community and the younger generation because their understanding of the legal aspect of Islam is based, it normally doesn't based on the individual taste. You may not be distracted, you may not be praying towards these things, but to others it may happen. So that is why the scholars want to say to ensure that it cannot be applied on the individual level. So most of them say no, it's not allowed even if you were to have a statue of beside what you call it children's toy, beside toys, right? If you have statue like they buy normally in I think they buy in Indonesia, you can see a lot of this. Sometimes giraffe statue, very ugly faces. In some houses I teach, I saw some of these statues. So if you want to be buying that, then you need to disfigure it. And this is mentioned in Yusuf Al-Dawi's book. That because it goes, he traced history during the ignorant stage. This is how people start worshiping people. It started with just photo, You know, then they, first it's just to take a photo, then after that hang something onto the photo, like example, bunga malay, you know, I don't know what you call it in English. Garlands, they start hanging garlands, and from there after that put certain joystick for them to get the smell, and then it becomes a worship. So this is what Islam prevent. Although in our time we are different, but the rules are still there. And Yusuf Qaradawi is the only professor that deals with the modern issue. Most of the other scholars, if you read like Imam Buti, Allah Yarham, he will totally not even want to be compromising with you. You know, Yusuf Qaradawi is a contemporary scholar. He's still alive. He's about 86 years old, and he's the Mufti of Damascus. He's still alive. So he in his book he made clear that it is not allowed. I mean, for fear of, as I said just now, distraction to some, but while to others it's something to do with something else. Although, as I said, now the issue, like the latest issue that you know happened in Kuala Lumpur about dogs, right? So that's why we need to be coming back to classes for us to understand issues like that. That is discussed more in detail in the Hanafi school. It's permissible in their school. If you have study, then you don't have to cost straight time and give money a lot to them for writing an issue about dog. This is not new. Whatever is surfacing now is not a new thing. It's already been redressed or addressed by the scholars. The earlier scholars have answered all these questions about this animal. Again, the same thing that is still happening in our society. You'll find that people are fond of having cats. No pets are allowed in Islam. You see, our job is to tell you whether you want to be applying it or not. That is not our, you answer Allah. So until now, you see, SPCA have to step in to, catch hold of your cat if you have more than one. Or sometimes even one also they will catch. I don't know what they do to it. In the case of cat, I don't know. But in the case of other animals, sometimes they send it to Singapore Zoological Garden to feed the lion. Some of the animals they catch. Okay? Wallahu a'lam.
Right, we have a question here for Ustazah. Lately, there have been many hijab styles among women. Some include the turban kind. What are your views on that? The different styles of hijab. And lately, we have the turban style.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. If you can remember the photos I showed you on the projector just now, okay? If you can remember, I show you Surah An-Nur also, okay? Surah An-Nur, if you can recall, Allah says, draw up your outer garment to cover your bosom. So, in terms of style, you want to have turn around or whatever, turn twice, turn once, and you have to have flip over, okay? The criteria is it must cover your neck and cover your bosom, okay? If you have 10 turn around and still not covering your bosom, you does not meet the criteria, okay? And when you turn, okay, when you have 3 turns, 4 turns, whatever, how many turns, I don't know, okay, do not distract men. That means colors also plays an important part. Why I say that, I once saw a lady, okay, who used a highlighter color where 10 kilometers away I can see her. My eyes was actually going one side, but the other eye distract me and I was looking at her. Okay? So colors do play a part also. So the thing to remember is turn back to Surah An-Nur, look again at what Allah wants to say. Where's your smart phone? Take out verse 31. Okay? Cover till your outer garment till your bosoms. if you understand that part, it should answer your question. The questions here.
Right, there's another question. A family friend came back from Egypt and they bought for us the pajama set with the Pharaoh's face on it because
With
Pharaoh's face. Should it be used or should I throw it away if it's given to me?
Masya Allah. Allah Akbar. Okay. It comes back to your faith, how deep and how strong your faith is. Okay. If that face bothers you, okay, you will see that it will influence your children or your sister or younger sister, influence them to something that is negative. Okay, my advice is don't use it. If you are comfortable, okay, and you are sure, very sure that it does not influence into negatives, okay, you want to put it on, yes, but only in the house. Pajamas are not meant for outside the house, please. Okay, does that answer the questions?
Do we have any last questions?
One last question.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Isa. I think it's more of a professional, I'm sure some of us are working as a professional, and in terms of fashion at work, like how you wear, what you wear at work. Okay, I think not much of a problem for men, but maybe women, because as we know now, Islam has a stigma, as our sisters, if they wear hijabs, it may stifle their career advancement. It doesn't matter whether they perform well, but in the eyes of employers or non-believers especially they are very influenced by Western media. They know even she performs well, she's the best that in her job because of what she wears at work, and it will stifle her career, and she will remain stagnant, and that stigma will stick to her. So I just want to know what are your views and what can you advise people who are, career people.
Of course, as you know that Islam do allow certain aspect of the legal can be that it comes into a compromising situation. But if you are talking, if you are talking at the national level, but if you are talking at the individual level, of course, you have choices, do you? You have choices. If you have a choice, then you should make that choice. Meaning, like for the time being, it's okay for you to be because in Islam you can't question the legal aspect. Meaning question here, meaning you are questioning Allah. You can't do that. It's a rule already been mentioned there, as what mentioned by Ustaz earlier from the Quran. So that is Sharia. Once it is from the Quran, then it is Sharia. If it is not, then it is fiqh. It's more to the day-to-day situation. So in the context of Singapore, you, as I mentioned this in some of my classes, the least that you could be doing is to apply to wear the hijab from point A to point B. Remove, follow within that so-called working environment. Then when you leave, you do the same thing also from point B to point A. In the meantime, but if you want to be transgressing, then you need to be asking forgiveness from Allah every day. If you want to transgress, the limit of I don't care, my hair looks nice, I look nicer without my headgear, the one you answer Allah. You answer Allah because you transgress the limit that is set by the religion already. But if you want to, as I said just now, the list that is called, this is not fatwa that's coming from me, it's already there in Muiz webpage. When they built the casino, Muiz have given a fatwa that Muslim can work, but try not to go to the casino area. If they will have to, they have their expertise there, then no choice. Because a lot of people misunderstood when you work in the environment that is unlawful, it is not the earning that is unlawful. The job that you do is unlawful. And because of that, you're feeding everything to your wife and children unlawful things. You must read these things that the impact on the unlawful things that, if we disregard, what will happen? Now the first thing that I like to warn you, Allah will not listen to you. If your body is full of haram, Allah will not listen to you. So if it doesn't matter to you, it's okay, then continue. It's just that we have a lot of Muslims in the food industry, especially in F&B, in the hotel liners. A lot of them works in this kind of industry. So it's very difficult. So in the meantime, what you could do is you continue your work, right, in this food industry or the F&B's area, but you ask Allah to forgive you every day. Say, Ya Allah, I don't like what I'm doing. I have to serve liquor and this and that. Ask Allah to forgive you and ask Allah to change your job. This is where the istihara comes in. The duha prayer comes in. This will help you to have an improvement. If you're looking for a better choice, unless it is thing that you want to answer Allah, by all means. Because we need, this has been made clear in Islam, Hukullah, Hukul Ibad. Hukullah, Hukul Ibad. There is Allah's right that you cannot violate, there is your right that should not be violated too. So once this is clear, then you should know. Wallahu a'lam bishawab. Yes?
We've got to go for the last question.
Recently I have seen children wearing frozen hijab and attire. Does that fall under the Islamic fashion? And is that permissible? And what we should be doing? And what the parents should be doing? And what is your view on that? Any of
what is it?
Frozen, the cartoon Frozen. Now they have it in the hijab.
Oh, okay. So that's what I told you just now. That is the reason why that you cannot allow some of these things. You cannot be supporting them. This is the reason, for fear that later it becomes a business thing, and you did not see that it will tarnishes the image of Islam. The moment it falls onto the wrong hand, then we have problems. Like at one time we have problems about cartoonists. You see that the issue there, if you allow, you start making fun of other people's religion through the cartoon, the calligraphy thing, then it becomes an issue. So that's why Islam, I can understand it's just time doesn't permit for me to be discussing. I do hope that you come to the class or perhaps we meet in other session. Islam do allows, we have these things, for brothers and sisters, for your information, we have what is known as tasdeeq and Islam. This is from the Quran, tasdeeq and Islam, which means that we also have Muslims that die. They don't want to change, die, they have to do this. There is no such situation actually in Islam. No, the flexibility of the Islamic legal system has already been mentioned in the Quran. It's already been mentioned. Allah made it very clear, La yukallimullahu nafsan illa wus'aha. My religion is not a burden for you. In other words, Allah says, Yuridullahu bikumul yusra. Imagine it is coming from the Creator who creates you by virtue. He doesn't have to be compromising with you, but he still say, Yuridullahu bikumul yusra wa ma yuridu bikumul usra. I want to make things easy for you. I do not want to make things difficult for you. The question is, of course, Muslim, the baseline of Islam, as you know, right, every one of us, you need to be thinking of the other life that you're going to be living forever and ever. Don't you want to? You must read about what is inside Jahannam. What is inside this? I think there's a recent case for those who are very fond of browsing internet. please look for this Russian guy that, I don't know whether whatever I heard there is true or not, but nevertheless, I have cited in hadith that the Prophet ﷺ mentioned, Nar is seven, what do you call it? 7 layers down the earth. So in all probability, maybe that Russian professor that did to try and actually detect the sound of a volcano, then suddenly hearing people being tortured. It's scary. It's scary. If it is really true, I don't know, it doesn't scare you, I do not know what else to scare you. This is not a joke, you know. You need to see the seriousness of what is going to happen to you. It doesn't matter if you like to be tortured. Although you know, as we have come across the people who say that, oh, it's okay. Because Muslim definitely will go to Jannah. Definitely. That is a guarantee. If you believe in Allah, the scholars differ in this. But the majority said, if you believe in Allah, although you're not doing all the other commandments of Allah, right? You want to take things for granted that, it's okay lah, I can settle with Allah. You think so, but you must remember, 1 hour in hell is equivalent to 1,000 earth time. Can you take it? If somebody have a lighter, if you can withstand the lighter heat, then you tell me that you can withstand the torture in hellfire, where it's going to be 70 times hotter. 70 times hotter.
Right, we have one last question here. This is directed to Ustazah. It's during child giving period. I have a female gynae, but what if there is a male assistant inside the room? What is the thought about this?
If you had booked before birth, if you had booked a male gynae, okay, it's not permissible. Because you have a choice of a female gynae. But during the labor, your female gynae did not attend to you and a male gynae comes, it is darurah. You cannot say, I want to hold on to my birth until my gynae comes. You cannot be saying that. Okay? Darurah. Because when giving birth, it's either the baby is alive or dead, or you alive or dead, or both dead or both alive. Okay? So this is darurah session. Okay? If you had booked a female gynae and a male one comes in, it's alright, permissible. Why? Darurah. But if you had booked a male gynae before your birth, please, I think you better change your gynae. Okay? Allah Alam bisawab.
Alright, thank you very much. I think if you refer to the book recommended by Ustaz, I think that in terms of medical condition, you are allowed to have a male doctor because it's a life and death situation.